friends. Happy Friday, right before Christmas break. Yay! We are going to be off for 2 weeks, which is pretty exciting to me. But we have a few more lessons to do today. And for math today, we are working on something a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit of a change from what we have been doing. And we're going to be talking a bit about time today. Um, and specifically, the goal or the objective today is for you to be able to tell time to the hour. Now, we've talked a little bit during board work about time. I have my clock that is up on the board, and we've been counting the days that we've been in school like minutes on the clock. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the analog clock. An analog clock looks just like this one right here on the screen. And the vocabulary word is o'clock. O'clock. What o'clock means is that this big hand right here, the big hand, is on the 12. That's o'clock. Okay. And what it says right now on this clock, let me erase that. We have our big hand on the 12, and we have our little hand is pointing to the 2. So in this particular circumstance, it is 2 o'clock. So whenever this big hand is on the 12, it says o'clock. Okay, so it is 2 o'clock. All right, let's go back. There's one more vocab word we're going to talk about today, and this one is, oh, it's not going to let me select it for some reason. But if you can see that really tiny, it is hour. Okay, so every time, let's go back to this one. Every time this big hand goes all the way around the clock and it goes all the way through all these numbers, we come back to the 12. It's called 1 hour. Okay, and I think you guys are pretty familiar with that so far. Okay, but today we're really going to be focusing on that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So all of these can be o'clock. Okay, as long as that big hand is pointing at the 12. Okay. Okay, we're going to, I need the blank page. I'm going to put this blank page here, and I have one image that I already put up here. And we're going to kind of look and examine these images of different clocks. And we're going to write what time this looks like. And time is written a little bit different. Because we know that when we record the temperature, we use the degree sign. When we're using money, we use decimal points, right? When we're recording the time, we use something that's called a colon. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a moment. But first, let's take a look right here. We do have an o'clock because the little big hand is pointing to the 12, and the little hand is pointing to the 10. That means that it's 10 o'clock. And the way that we write that is with a 10, and then we have a colon. A colon looks like 2 dots, just like that, 10. And then whenever it's o'clock, it means there's no extra minutes. And so it's just a 0, 0, okay? And what this can be also is if we have a digital clock. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe. There it is. We have a 10 o'clock on the digital clock. It looks just like that. Okay. So whenever it's o'clock, it's going to be 0, 0. Okay. So we have 10 o'clock. That's the same as this analog clock where it's 10 o'clock. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can, let me get rid of these. We're going to go back. Whoops. We're going to go back and let's do another few of them so we can have some practice before I show you what it looks like on your worksheet for some practice. Okay, let's find another o'clock. There's a good one. Okay, we're going to use this one. Let me make it a little bit bigger for us. Okay, so this one, we know it's an o'clock because the 12 has the big hand on it, right? So we know already it's going to look like this, 0, 0 on this side. But we need to figure out what the other side is. And my little hand is pointing to the 2. So that means it's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Very good, very good. Let's see if we can find one. Whoops, I needed that blank page back again. Let's see if we can't find one more o'clock. Let's find one more. There's one. And the how I can tell that it is an o'clock is because the 12, the long hand is pointing to that 12. So I know it's an o'clock, which is 0, 0. And the small hand is pointing to the 3. So I'm going to write 3 o'clock. And that's what we have there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag over. Here's our worksheets that we've been working on. I do need a pen here so that I can circle the right time. And on this worksheet today, you are actually going to be identifying what time it is on this analog clock. So these are kind of tiny clocks. So I hope you can see them okay. But we do know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can always count by these fives. Every 5 minutes is a number, and so you can count all the way around if you cannot read those numbers well enough. So on this one we have an o'clock because it's pointing to the 12. This one's actually pointing to the 2. The little hand is pointing to the 2. That makes it 2 o'clock. On the next one, we have the big hand's pointing to the 12, so we know it's an o'clock. The little hand is pointing to the 5. So this one is 5 o'clock. Number 3, the little hand is pointing on the 8. So it is 8 o'clock. Number 4, the little hand is pointing on the 11. That makes it 11 o'clock. And the one down at the bottom, 4, is what we have, the little hand pointing to the 4. So we have 4 o'clock. And remember, on all of these, the big hand is pointing to the 12. Whenever that big hand is pointing to the 12, that's an o'clock, right? There's another worksheet that you're going to do. So let's go through this one. This time, the little hand is pointing to the 3. That makes it 3 o'clock. So I'm going to circle 3 o'clock. The next one down has both of them pointing at the 12. Do you see that one? That one's a little bit special. That makes it 12 o'clock, which we also call that 12 noon or midnight, right? So here's 12 o'clock. Number 3, we have a 10 o'clock. I'm going to circle 10 o'clock. On number 4, the little hand's pointing to the 7 o'clock. So I'm going to find 7 o'clock. And lastly, on the bottom, we have a 9 o'clock. So I'm going to circle the 9 o'clock. Okay, now it's your turn to get started on these same worksheets. So you're going to complete this Nearpod and do both worksheets. And I wish you much luck on this journey. We're going to be talking a lot about time in the next few weeks and maybe even the next month. Just really focusing on being able to tell time accurately and correctly using those analog clocks. It's a very good skill to have. It's something that will last your whole life long, and it's a good thing to know. All right. So, I hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye, folks.